This is a reimagining of the Nutcracker. Merry Christmas and enjoy.
Ho, ho, ho!
On Christmas Eve, Herr Drosselmeyer arrived at the Stahlbaum house with gifts for the children. He was Clara's godfather, and he was strange. One eye covered with a patch, wild hair, an unsettling intensity that made the other adults uncomfortable. He built clockwork toys that seemed almost alive. He told stories that went on too long and too dark for polite company. He existed at the boundary between the respectable world and somewhere else. For Clara's brother Fritz, he brought a regiment of toy soldiers. Fritz was delighted. He loved war games, battles, destruction. For Clara, he brought a nutcracker. It was an odd gift. Carved wood, painted in bright colors, with a face that was ugly in a way that seemed almost intentional. Oversized head, grimacing mouth designed to crack nuts. Clara's mother made a polite noise that meant what a peculiar present for a girl. Fritz laughed out loud. But Clara looked at the nutcracker and saw something no one else did. She saw someone who had been brave. Someone wounded. Someone waiting to be seen clearly. She took him in her arms and thanked Drosselmeyer with genuine warmth. Fritz, of course, wanted to use the nutcracker for its intended purpose. He grabbed it from Clara, shoved in the largest nut he could find, and forced the jaw until something cracked. The nutcracker's jaw hung loose, broken. Clara cried out and snatched him back. Fritz laughed and ran off with his soldiers, already bored now that the toy was broken. Clara wrapped the nutcracker's jaw with a ribbon from her dress, a makeshift bandage, and laid him gently in a doll's bed beneath the Christmas tree. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'll take care of you." Later that night, after the party ended and the house fell silent, Clara crept back downstairs to check on her patient. The tree still glittered in the darkness. The presents had been opened and scattered, and the nutcracker lay where she had left him, wounded and still. She curled up beside the tree and closed her eyes. She woke to a world transformed. The room was the same, but vast. Or rather, she was small, no bigger than a mouse, and the Christmas tree towered above her like a forest. The toys had come alive, and the nutcracker was standing, whole, leading an army of toy soldiers against an invasion of mice. The Mouse King was huge and terrible, 7-headed, commanding hordes of gray soldiers that poured from the shadows. The battle raged across the parlor floor, casualties on both sides, strategy and chaos. The nutcracker fighting with a sword that had been a letter opener an hour ago. Clara watched in horror as the tide turned against the toys. The Mouse King cornered the nutcracker, raised his blade, and Clara threw her slipper. It struck the Mouse King square in his central head. He staggered. The nutcracker drove his sword home. The mice fled shrieking into the darkness. The nutcracker turned to Clara. He bowed, not the mechanical bow of a toy, but the bow of a prince to someone who has saved his life. "You were brave," he said, "braver than you know. Will you come with me?" And the wall opened into winter, and Clara followed him through. They traveled through the land of snow, where snowflakes danced in formations that were not random, but choreographed by some intelligence beyond human understanding. They crossed into the kingdom of sweets, where the sugar plum fairy held court in a palace of candy and light. The fairy received them with ceremony. Word had traveled ahead. The Mouse King's defeat was known. Clara was announced as the hero, the one who had turned the battle, who had saved the prince. The prince, because that was who the nutcracker was. A prince under a curse transformed into a wooden soldier, trapped in the mortal world until someone saw through his ugly exterior to what was actually there. Clara had seen. Clara had tended. And now Clara was being celebrated in a kingdom she had entered because she refused to abandon something broken. The fairy offered entertainment, a parade of dances from around the world, each more beautiful than the last. Spanish chocolate, Arabian coffee, Chinese tea, Russian candy canes, French marzipan, and finally, the waltz of the flowers, the court itself swirling in patterns that were beyond any mortal choreography. Clara watched it all, the prince beside her, and felt something she had never felt in the mundane world. She was being taken seriously. This was the gift Drosselmeyer had given her. Not the Nutcracker himself, but the adventure the Nutcracker unlocked. In the mortal world, Clara was a child, Her opinions didn't matter. Her perceptions were dismissed as imagination. When she saw something in the Nutcracker that no one else saw, she was humored, tolerated, gently mocked by her brother. Here she had saved a kingdom. Here her perception had been correct. The ugly toy was a prince in disguise. Here, her care for something broken had been the hinge on which everything turned. Children need this. To be taken seriously. To have their vision of the world treated as valid, not as something to be grown out of. To act and have their actions matter. The kingdom of sweets gave Clara what the mortal world withheld. Consequence. Her slipper throw mattered. Her choice to tend the wounded mattered. She was not a child watching adults do important things. She was the protagonist. At midnight, the magic ended, or transformed, or revealed itself as having been there all along. Clara woke beneath the Christmas tree, the Nutcracker in her arms, his jaw still bound with her ribbon. It was Christmas morning. The house was waking. The smell of breakfast drifted from the kitchen. Had it been a dream? She looked at the Nutcracker's face, his ugly, grimacing, cracked face, and knew that it didn't matter. Dream or vision or journey to an actual kingdom. She had learned something real. She had learned that tending the wounded could unlock worlds. That seeing what others missed was not naivety, but perception. That care, offered without guarantee of return, might transform everything. The Nutcracker did not speak. He was wood and paint, and a broken jaw held together with ribbon. But Clara knew what she knew. She had crossed into a kingdom and back. She carried the crossing with her. Her godfather arrived for Christmas dinner, his one eye twinkling with secrets. "How did you like your gift?" he asked. "It was perfect," Clara said. He nodded, unsurprised. He had known it would be. Not because he could see the future, but because he understood something about Clara that the rest of the adults had missed. She was the kind of person who would see a prince in a broken Nutcracker, who would tend what others discarded, who would throw her slipper at a seven-headed king. Drosselmeyer collected such children. He gave them doorways and watched what they did with them. Most children wanted toys that worked, toys that were beautiful, toys that required nothing of them. But some children, the rare ones, wanted something that needed them. Clara was rare. He had given her a wounded soldier, knowing she would nurse it. He had given her a doorway, knowing she would walk through. He had given her a kingdom, knowing she would save it. All he had really done was recognize what was already there.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Share to help the channel grow.